Stephanie, as dust descends upon this town, how are things playing out?
So far, things are calm right now. There are definitely a lot more people out here now, Dr. Drew. When you take a look, you can see behind me that you've got people who are walking. Police are out here asking people to not stop and stand in one place, but to keep on moving. So you'll see small groups of people get together, and then you'll see the cops come and tell them to disperse a little bit. I have seen some friendly interaction between people here in Ferguson and police officers at this time, but we've seen people marching. They go up a certain way up here on the street to the blockade, and then they come back down to the blockade on the other end. So you can see there's plenty of people who are out here, down here. Some people handing out roses here today, saying they want to bring peace back to the community. Also, a lot of people out here saying, you know, hands up, don't shoot. They're still saying that they're out here for Mike Brown. I talked to one family who told me that they come out during the daytime, and by the time the sun goes down, they're going back to their homes because they think that the people who are causing the disturbance in the evening, a lot of those people, they say, aren't even from Ferguson, and so they want to make their voices heard, make it known that they're upset about what happened with Mike Brown, but at the same time get out of the way so that there could just be these peaceful protests during the day and then clear the streets out at night. But as you can see, there's still a lot of people out here right now, but most people out here right now, there's nothing going on. It's calm. You can see some police officers are out here behind us talking to people on the street, just telling them to keep it moving if they are out here to march. But overall, the scene is calm, but you can definitely tell that there's a little bit of a tension in the air, Dr. Drew. I'll put it to you that way. Everyone's waiting to see if things are going to turn on a dime.
Yeah, and Stephanie, I just hope it stays calm. I like the idea of making your point during the day. No good comes after midnight, that's for sure. Every night that has been proven. So why stay out after midnight? I'm just saying. Thank you, Stephanie. Anahita, how do you feel the police have done in handling this situation? Have they escalated it, or have they done just what they had to do their job?
They're doing what they have to do. I mean, anyone who's criticizing the police presence there needs to watch that package. Look at what's going on there. I mean, these people have a right to protest. That's their First Amendment right. They're allowed to be out there peacefully. But the fact is, Dr. Drew, there are people that are being violent. They're looting. They're throwing things at the cops. Molotov cocktails. What do you expect the police to do? You want them to be dressed in tuxedos and suits and just sitting back? No, they need to be dressed in these military clothes. They need to be with these SWAT trucks because they have a duty to make sure that everything is in order within their jurisdiction, and they need to keep people safe. So I don't understand. Any suggestion that the police presence there is somehow fueling the flames is absolutely preposterous, in my opinion.
Well, Crystal, I suspect you feel very much like Anahita, but it feels... You know, the history of this country is that we have certain freedoms to move about. And when you see our government acting out in what looks like a militaristic fashion against its own citizens, I think we all of our teeth get set on edge.
Well, I don't know if all my teeth get set on edge, but as an American, I do like freedom and liberty. At the same time, Anahita points out a fact. The police are there to protect and serve. They're not there to be our best friends, to have cocktails with us. And Captain Ron Johnson, the black St. Louis state trooper who has taken over trying to help the Ferguson police manage this situation, stood up, I believe yesterday or today, and said, hey guys, you throwing Molotov cocktails at my men will not be tolerated. And the reason why the police are saying, move, get out of the way, is because you have journalists that can't be distinguished from peaceful protesters and rioters. And as you pointed out, Dr. Drew, when it hits midnight, why are you out on the streets anyway? Move. When the police say get out of the way, move. I do think the National Guard is overkill, way overkill.
Yes. Well, okay,
from Jay Nixon. You know, it reminds me.
Go.
Well,
Where is that line? And Vanessa, Vanessa,
yeah.
You made the point last night that was very good, that fear seems to be one of the motivating problems in this entire circumstance, and seeing a bunch of guys with AK-47s aimed at you creates a little fear.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up because I understand what Anahita is saying, but I don't necessarily agree because there's a situation here where 90% of these protests are peaceful. And so when you come to just show support and you come to have your voice heard and you are met with a gun in your face, that is instant fear, that is instant aggravation, and that escalates the situation. I know the police are there to protect and serve, but I think they're unintentionally escalating some situations. And unfortunately, the actions, the deplorable actions of a few are overshadowing the amazing actions of many.